The feature of this video is the float plane ride we took in west central British Columbia called West Chilcotin. But before we get to that, we need to tell you about getting here because this is by far the most remote area we've ever been. The day after we picked our truck up from being in the shop for 25 days, we left Lake Louise. Our goal was to get to the Walmart in Williams Lake, British Columbia, 459 miles. On our drive, we crossed amazing scenery, national parks, beautiful lakes, jagged mountains, rolling hills, and even wildfires. We are approaching Kamloops, and if you can see in the distance, you can see a couple different wildfires happening. So there's one right up here with smoke, and then you can see a big plume over there of smoke. We haven't noticed any air quality troubles that much. A little bit of smokiness when we were going through the mountains because it just kind of sits in the valley, but it's pretty interesting to see the wildfire smoke happen. This chopper right here has a big old basket, and he's getting water from this giant lake to go dump on the fire. Wow. Well, there's glare from the sun, but you can see all the burntness, and it looks like it did jump this big old lake. Currently driving in British Columbia in this avalanche tunnel. So there's one coming up, and so what they did is they basically built like a bridge on top of the road so that when there's avalanches it doesn't impact the highway at all. It just will blow all the way over. It's pretty neat. The next day, we really left civilization. As soon as you leave Williams Lake on Highway 20, you lose cell service and you never get it back. The first welcome to the area is just after you pass the bridge over the Fraser River and travel up a very steep mountain. For 200 miles, we traveled on this lonely road, seeing few cars and few of anything except for livestock. The scenery and the remoteness are very special here. There are few services and no real towns. There are several First Nation reservations, and they may or may not have a gas station or a place to eat. Anaheim Lake, where we are staying, is pretty sizable for the region. Because why not? Why would we not find where there are cows in the road?
This isn't Mexico.
No, it's Canada. We are staying in Escott Bay Resort. This little campground here is located in Anaheim Lake. It is right on this beautiful lake. It is a perfect fall day here.
How do you want me to throw the ball for you?
This is Oscar. He lives here. And he brought me a ball, but instead of giving me the ball, he decided he wanted his belly ground. Right, boy? He is 2 years old and very hyper. Oh. So I just made a phone call because I saw that they do float plane tours, and we are on our way to go up in the sky. So excited.
Where are you coming from? We're from the United States. Okay.
back from our float plane tour. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. Like, the views were just incredible. They had pictures in the office of like, here's what you'll see. They were like garbage compared to what we saw. I told the guy, I'm like, you need like 100 more pictures because this did not represent what we saw. It was so cool. So first they took us over these rainbow mountains, and they are so beautiful. The colors there, it's just wow. It's like I needed a second loop through there because I feel like I was not able to grasp what my eyes were, you know, seeing because it was so beautiful. And when you're in a plane, like, it just kind of happens so fast. The Rainbow Range is named that because of the brightly colored sands and lava. It is partly in the Chillicothe Mountains and Coast Mountains of BC. It was created through volcanic activity and has not been well researched, so not much is known about them. We then flew over the infamous hill. In researching this area, I found lots of hype about this mountain road. It is a dirt and gravel mountain road built by the locals of Anaheim Lake and Bella Coola to connect the two towns. In the 50s, a government engineer said a road cannot be built, and the townspeople said whatever and started building it themselves. This is a road that drops 4,000 feet for 27 miles and has up to 15% grades, switchbacks, and no guardrails. And it's on the side of a cliff. You can watch us go down this road in our next video, where we raft with grizzly bears. Then they took us next to this waterfall. This waterfall is like one of the top 3 tallest waterfalls in Canada. It's called Hunan Falls. It's 1,000 feet drop. That was super cool. He took us by that twice, which is good because the first time I kind of missed it. The second time you actually get to see it a little bit more.
No, I would say if you were coming to that and you wanted to see the waterfall specifically, springtime would be the best probably when you get the most melt. It was still pretty cool to see. It just didn't have quite the power you would expect from a 1,000-foot drop.
Yeah, and that's probably because, you know, this time of year, what we started noticing in Jasper and Banff is the rivers and the lakes, they were not as plentiful as they were a few weeks ago when we were there. And I think it's just because the temperatures at night are getting colder. It's below freezing. The glaciers are solidifying more. They're not melting as much as they were a little bit ago, and so I think your waterfalls are going to be less. It's just normal. That's what happens in the fall time frame.
I started to feel this color for a little while when we got over the Icefield. I don't know what happened. I didn't feel good the whole flight, so be it, but when I got over the Icefield, man, I had to get the bag out of the seat, open her up, and be ready to go. It was a little sketchy for a minute. I managed to make it without throwing up, which was nice. It took away a little bit, but, you know, it was still pretty spectacular. Even if I had gotten sick, still would have been worth it. The views are amazing.
Yeah, and that's interesting because we've done a float plane before, and you know, we've done like little airplanes, little helicopters. This one, you definitely felt like it was choppy, and I think you'll be able to tell from some of my footage, like it's not just my tremors, you know, it's like all of a sudden we're bouncing up and down and left and right, and it's like sometimes you could feel your stomach. And at first it was like shortly after we took off and we started, you know, getting like pockets of air that you would hit, it's like, shit, we're gonna die. I didn't tell anybody I loved them. It's just kind of normal. Like, it didn't faze the guy at all. He's constantly flipping buttons and pulling stuff and turning stuff. It's like he does this every day, multiple times a day. The thing that we did, which was like the bomb.com, this was the Glacier field. It was so awesome. Everywhere you looked, there were just snow-capped mountains. There were glaciers. There were bigger glaciers. The Icefield was awesome. And then sprinkled in there, you would have different colored lakes. And some of these lakes, it's like you couldn't believe it. It's like, what is that colored lake doing up here? It just doesn't exist. Crayola does not have a name for the colors of some of these lakes. It was just incredible. So this tour was very expensive. Typically we do not spend anywhere near what we did today. It was almost like 1,000 Canadian dollars. It was a lot. But I think it was totally worth it. You're not gonna see these things on your own.
There's no other way to see.
No, it's inaccessible.
Yeah.
Airplane is the only way. So you gotta pay to play. And this was so awesome. It was so worth it. We're probably gonna have to cut back a little bit because I spent like all of our fun bucket budget for the whole you know, year today, it feels like. But
this place is so far away from everything too. It's kind of one of those things where you're just gonna do everything you can while you're here because it's so far away to get here for us. I doubt we're ever coming back. Did a pretty good job of flying that you can see it on both sides.
yeah, I just felt like there was so much that I was just distracted by on my window. I completely forgot there was a whole other side to look at. And then one point, it's like I had taken so many photos. It was like I just stopped taking photos. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to film anymore. Like, I've already got awesome stuff. That's our recap of our float plane tour of Tweedsmuir Air Services. Totally awesome. Totally would recommend. Thank you for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed experiencing it. We're in the boat by ourselves. Actually, this isn't a boat, this is a plane. It is 9:46 local time. That means It's 1:45 Eastern time, and Kyle and I are out right now because we checked our aurora index. It is a 6. There's a 30% chance of seeing auroras, and you know you cannot pass up this opportunity. So we're taking it. We're gonna scope out some spots and see if we can pick something up. So far, I think it is out there. Okay, check this out. This is the photo I just took. Here's what I can see. Like really nothing up there. So I'm gonna take a new photo. So this is just on iPhone. So I have it propped up here and I have it set to 30 seconds. So if you push this little button here, this yellow one, you can set how long you want it to be. I want it 30 seconds. And then I push the button. And then 30 seconds will go. Almost done. Okay, so now I'm gonna click down here. And this is the photo that just popped out from this. We just got back from our aurora hunting adventure. I think that we saw them. The camera showed it up. In the sky, it just kind of looked like light color, like almost like on a full moon night, you can see like the clouds lit up kind of deal. It kind of looked like that to the naked eye, but the camera picked up other things. Carl's not so sure if it's northern lights. I don't know. Let me know. You can look at these pictures. I can see purple, I feel like, and some green, but we didn't get to see like the pretty waves with the eyes. Quite an adventure. The last stop that we did, I was like, oh, Carl, pull over. I want to take a picture. And so what I did for this one is I rolled down the window of the truck and I got out and, you know, like I sat on the door and I took Carl's phone because it was taking better pictures and I had that propped up against my camera. That's what I was using to kind of prop it up on like the roof of the truck. And so I waited till it took the picture and then I took the phone and I handed it to Carl. I was like, cool, look at this. And I got back in the truck and I rolled my window up and then we sped away. Well, as Carl hit the gas, there was something that fell. And he's like, something just fell. And I was like, I don't see nothing. And we continued on, which felt like forever. And then I realized, oh my God, I left my camera on the roof of the truck and that was what fell. And so then I'm freaking out because I have this big tour that's booked tomorrow morning and I need my camera. Like, that's everything to me. So we turn around and we're like, okay, we're looking for a black camera that's like this big in the middle of the road in the middle of the night. And so fortunately there's like no traffic. So we're like creeping along and we're gonna run it over. Maybe it fell off into the ditch. The ditch is like 2 feet deep. We're never gonna find it. We're going, and finally we found it. And this sucker like is completely indestructible. It was all wonky when I found it. Like it did not look good at all, but it is working and I just can't believe it. I'm just so glad and I can't believe I just left it off the roof and it survived from like falling off the roof of the truck onto a gravel road. This is one of the more gnarliest dump stations we've ever had to get to. Kind of tucked into the woods here. Very narrow. A little brushing, just cleaning off the side. So while Kyle is gonna dump here into this random hole in the ground, I'm going to take advantage and go say hello to these horses. What's up? And look who came to say goodbye. Right, Oscar? Yeah. Yeah. There's just a party over here.
Excellent. Cool.
I think this is our last Canadian province for quite a while.
There.
Beautiful British Columbia.